Last week, the Washington Post reported that the Trump administration has banned officials at the Centers for Disease Control from using 7 words in official documents. Those words are vulnerable, entitlement, diversity, transgender, fetus, evidence-based, and science-based. That's some Orwellian shit right there, considering that the CDC is dedicated to protecting public health. And so all of those words are actually pretty fucking necessary for them to use. Certain populations are more vulnerable than others when it comes to certain diseases, and no political viewpoint will ever change that. And don't even get me started on the importance of making sure that our public health policies are evidence-based and science-based. In that case, officials were allegedly given an alternative phrase to use instead of science-based. CDC bases its recommendations on science in consideration with community standards and wishes. Yikes. If the community wishes to die from measles, that shouldn't change the CDC's recommendation that they all go get vaccinated. After the Post article gained traction, the director of the CDC, Dr. Brenda Fitzgerald, posted a series of tweets rebutting it and claiming that there are in fact no banned words at the organization. You would think that would be the end of it, but there are 2 problems with that response. Number 1, it's a series of tweets, not an actual official statement. You may not recall this, but prior to the Trump administration, we used to expect our government officials to deliver official statements to the public in ways that project an air of professionalism, responsibility, not on social media like someone telling the story of the time they saw a knife fight in the Times Square Olive Garden. The second problem is that throughout her 6 tweets, Dr. Fitzgerald never once used any of the 7 allegedly forbidden words. Now, it's true that this is just Twitter and not an official document, but still, you would think that it would occur to her that it might go a long way toward helping her out if she actually uses the words. That might convince us that the employees who leaked news of the ban were just experiencing some kind of mass delusion. In follow-up reports, it does appear that the story isn't as cut and dried as it initially appeared. The directive to not use the words didn't necessarily come directly from Donald Trump, for instance. It may have come from inside the CDC or from the Department of Health and Human Services. And it may have been more of a suggestion to help secure funding from the Trump administration by using words in these requests that wouldn't scare them or hurt their little fee-fees. If that's true, it makes sense that the CDC director wouldn't come out and admit it because she'd be giving up the game, and the Trump administration would know that when funding requests talk about science and community standards and wishes, they're really talking about science-based policy. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Here's where this is still a huge problem, though. There is no alternate word for transgender or diversity, really. So the CDC is telling its people to basically not bother getting any funding for any public health initiatives related to trans people or diversity. So whether that directive comes from the Trump administration or from the CDC or HHS, it's a huge problem. In fact, this isn't the story of the Trump administration censoring a public health organization. It's worse. It's the story of a public health organization self-censoring in order to kowtow to the Trump administration. That's worse because we expect Trump to be awful, but we expect our science and health organizations to be apolitical no matter who is in office, and to stay true to the science and the public good no matter what. And sadly, it's not so easy to just impeach the CDC.